I'm very excited to introduce our final keynote speaker of the day, Maayan Ziv. I'm sure a lot of you know Maayan. She is the CEO and founder of Access Now, which is a crowdsourced app that allows you to pinpoint accessibility all across the globe. She is a disability activist, and she was actually just named, awarded Canada's top 40 under 40. This woman has literally done such amazing things for the disability community. And I actually have just started working with Maayan in her company. And just a personal testament, I can say how amazingly passionate Maayan is in her role. And I think it's so amazing to have Maayan here today to talk a little bit about what she does and some of her advice for those of you who are transitioning and growing up into adulthood. So welcome, Maayan. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Tori. I'm really glad to be here, and congrats on an incredible conference. I've been kind of tuning in throughout the day. It's been amazing to just listen to so many different perspectives. I hope that people are feeling energized, coming away with new thoughts, new ideas. And as the last session of the day in sometimes what feels like a long time, sitting on a Zoom call, I'm hoping to energize you and give you some food for thought, some exciting ideas, and just keep this conversation alive for many more years to come. So if we have not met before, my name is Maayan Ziv. I am a person with a disability. I have spinal muscular atrophy type 2. I've used my wheelchair since as long as I can remember. And I have been part of the Muscular Dystrophy Canada family for as long as I can remember as well, and have had amazing opportunities to connect with caregivers, with service providers, with people with disabilities across Canada as we've done, the walks, as we've had conferences. So it's really a pleasure to be here today as I'm speaking to you from Toronto. As you are tuning in, feel free to drop a question in the Q&A. I've got the Q&A box up. You could drop a note in the chat. I'll be kind of monitoring along, and I really want to keep it interactive. So I'm thrilled to share, when Tori kind of gave me the nudge and said, love if you could join, I couldn't say no. It's been amazing to work with you, Tori. So thanks for organizing this event, inviting me to be here. A little bit about me. I'm 31, and I started my journey very anti-disability. I started in a world that I didn't know anyone with a disability. I went to a school without people with disabilities, and I liked that. And the reason that I say this is because growing up, I wasn't really introduced to very many role models who could show me all the amazing things that disability had to offer. I was surrounded by adults who didn't know much about SMA, who didn't know much about disability in general. And the image that I was left with was that disability was sad and uncomfortable and not something to be proud of. It was something that I was supposed to apparently be suffering with. And I never understood why people around me had that experience. And so I thought, well, if that's what disability means, then I must not be disabled. And so I went until I was probably around 16 years old, thinking I'm not like those people. I'm not like disabled people. I'm different. And the major disconnect that I had was that the society around me was convincing me that I should separate myself from part of my identity. And it was only until I started meeting amazing people with disabilities who had lives and stories and aspirations and successes that I realized that I could be me, and I could also be comfortable with who I was as a disabled person. And that didn't take away from who I was. It didn't make me smaller. It didn't make me any less strong. It didn't make me less successful. In fact, it added to who I was. And I've been on that journey ever since. My first job was as a photographer. My friend paid me $20 to take his headshots when we were in high school. And from there, I took pictures of my friends. I graduated into university, and while I was studying media, I was taking jobs for my professors. I was working at school as a photographer, and I was building my portfolio. Eventually, that led me into my next career opportunity with technology, where now I work as a tech CEO. I built a company over the last 6 years that's focused on accessibility. I never thought in a million years that I would go from being someone who didn't want to even hear the word disabled to being someone who's proud and loud about the amazing gifts and opportunities that disability can bring our world. And so in Asked Being Speak today, I thought I would just jot down some things that I wish I knew when I was younger in the theme of the conference that I could share with you now, that as you are growing in your own journey, as you're thinking about what's next for you, maybe these will kind of stick with you, some of the things that I wish I knew. So the first thing is that other people with disabilities are cool. I grew up, there wasn't social media, there weren't many people in my community, and I didn't have access to other amazing people with disabilities who are doing incredible things. But now we live in a world that's ever connected. You can go on TikTok and meet incredible influencers with disabilities. You can go on Instagram and discover artists and creators and influencers, all with disabilities who have incredible stories to tell. And that social media component is such an amazing way to get connected to a network of people who you can learn from and thrive off of to build something big. So don't shy away from being tapped into a network that maybe historically you were uncomfortable with. Another big point I would say is that there's nothing wrong with asking for help. This has been a big theme that I've heard throughout the day today. And I'd say that this is something that has taken me a long time to be comfortable with. What I've learned is that every person, disabled or otherwise, needs help. Some people are comfortable with that, some people are not. But I always thought, well, if I want to be perceived as strong and independent, well, I better not show anyone that I need help to put my coat on when I go to high school, or I better not show anyone that I need to be transferred from my wheelchair to another chair if I want to join them on the beach. I didn't want anyone to know that I needed help because I thought it looked like weakness. Now what I've realized is that being comfortable with vulnerability is a major strength. When you own the narrative of what you need help with, you allow other people to be comfortable around you. When they see that you're in control, you're confident, and you know what you need, and you're able to articulate it, I discovered that people were much more open and willing to be part of that journey with me than shy away. And you'll also find that you attract people who are encouraged by that, people who want to help, as opposed to kind of being stuck on your own and trying to figure out, uh-oh, what am I going to do? How am I going to get from the third floor of this building to the bottom if I can't reach the buttons in the elevator, as an example? When you're able to know what you need and comfortable saying, yeah, I need help with this, it gives people the confidence and the comfort to know that they can be part of that with you. So don't be afraid of asking for help and learn, from people around you about how to communicate what it is that you need. Another big thing, and this is maybe an uncomfortable one, is that there's no free lunch. When I was growing up, I was surrounded by people within a certain support network who, from doctors or people who were geared to focus on disability, could show me how to do things. And as I gained independence, I learned that I was going to have to fight for every single thing that I wanted, because the majority of people that I was going to meet would know nothing about disability, would know nothing about the rights of people with disabilities. And therefore, it was up to me to make sure that if I wanted a seat at the table, I was speaking up. If I wanted access to a service or a resource, I was speaking up. And so don't wait. If there's something you want, if there's something you need, make sure that you're vocalizing that experience. And as my mom always says, it's the squeaky wheel that gets the oil. I thought that's an appropriate analogy, as my chair is often squeaking, from rusted bearings at times or things. And the only way to get it fixed is to raise my voice and really demand, that I get the help that I need. You got to be pushy and don't be uncomfortable for asking for that. It's our job to educate the uneducated, because nobody knows better than people with disabilities about what a disabled world consists of. And one of the other really important things that I wish I knew then, that I know now and consistently kind of remind myself, is don't wait. You're always going to feel like, if I had a little bit more knowledge, if I knew a few more people, if I had more time to figure this out, or perhaps if I wait a little bit, I'll get more comfortable about taking a big risk. I'd say don't wait. Go on the school field trip that feels uncomfortable or a little inaccessible, or you're not sure how to do it. Apply for the job that you feel like you're not qualified for just yet. Sign up for that scary club that no one with a disability is currently part of. Submit an application for that scholarship that you feel like, am I really qualified? Apply for those funds and resources before you need them, because it takes time for change to happen. Kiss the boy that you like, tell him that you like him. Don't wait for him to show up on your doorstep. These are the types of things I wish I knew when I was younger, because as I was growing up, it took me time to gain that confidence. And I'll say that sometimes you got to fake it till you make it. So be bold, surround yourself by people who can push you when you need a bit of a push. And don't be afraid to take those risks, because it's better to have learned from experience than never to have tried at all. And most importantly, and honestly, if I could leave you with anything, it's the next 2 points. Discover what you love and protect it. Let the passion that is in your life be your guiding light. It's my passion that gave me purpose. It kept me busy, it kept me hungry, it kept me growing. As someone who was obsessed with the arts, finding photography in high school was one of the best things that could have ever happened to me, because it gave me something that was mine. It gave me the desire to hone a craft, to not just be someone with a disability who, was defined by just that, but to have something that was my own. I was a photographer. And at 16, to find something that was my own, it gave me the confidence to introduce myself to different people, to learn about cameras and equipment, to start taking pictures, to show something about who I was and my identity. And that led to meeting people and having new experiences and traveling and creating a network. It helped me grow. It helped me gain a sense of confidence. So whatever it is that you love, if it's sports, amazing. If it's writing or arts, awesome. It could be research or science, anything at all. And if you haven't found that thing yet, experiment. But there's nothing out there that's more rewarding than being surrounded by something that you're passionate about. And no disability could get in the way of that. Any experience, whether it's writing or blogging or watching movies, there's space for everyone to find what they love, and that can totally color your world. If I had not been interested in photography, a lot of the times where people were having inaccessible events in university or doing things that were not accessible to me, I might have been sitting around twiddling my thumbs. But because I had that passion, when people were off, partying at times and I couldn't access the venue, I was off building a network and building a portfolio that eventually led me to get new jobs and meet amazing people and sit in the offices of Vogue in New York City. And it was those experiences that have fulfilled me throughout my life so far. And so one of the things I've mentioned in finding your passion is your network. And I'll leave you with this final point. Your network is probably your most valuable asset. The people around you every day are each connected to someone else who, if you have something in mind that you want to do, you're only ever probably a few degrees of separation from someone who can help make that happen. The people who you meet at virtual conferences like this, the people who you're connected to at school or within your healthcare system, each one of them is connected to a whole universe of other people. So as I mentioned, don't wait and be bold and ask. Ask for a cup of coffee, ask for a virtual conversation, write the people that inspire you on Instagram and say, hey, I'd love to pick your brain. It's better to have tried than to never have known if there was a possibility there. And so those are the things that I wish that when I was younger, I would have learned, because it would have saved so much time on missed opportunities and experiences. And these are the things that guide me today. And so in the last few minutes, I know we're coming up on time. I wanted to give a chance to ask you if there are any questions you have, things you'd like to talk about, questions you have for me. Happy to respond. And if not, if you're feeling like, whoa, that's enough, I've got a good day ahead and I'm feeling good, that's good too. So I'll pass it back to you, Tori, to let me know kind of where to go from here. But just a very big thank you for Muscular Dystrophy Canada for continuing to be such an important connection point across Canada for families and people with disabilities. And it's been a pleasure to be here. Thanks.
Thank you, Maayan. Honestly, I don't think we could have had a better closing speaker. I know that a lot of people in the disability community like shy away from the word inspiring, but I truly think that you're one of the most inspiring people I know. The passion that you have for disability advocacy and your company and just helping people with disabilities navigate accessible spaces. It's amazing, and I've had such a pleasure of working with you over the past few weeks in different capacities. So thank you so much for joining us today. Do we have any, Jared, do you have any questions in the chat, or should we have
anything here? Thanks so much, Maayan. That was fantastic. That was great.
Awesome.
No, and I think that was great. I had a lot of fun today. How about you?
I had a lot of fun. I think that we had a lot of great content covered. I think that honestly, some of these sessions could have gone all day on their own. I think, there's a lot that people need to know when making that transition from the pediatric world to the adult world. And I hope that, that this can give everyone a little bit of information and the knowledge they need. And of course, if anyone has any questions, Jared and I are always open. You can contact us on social media or through email, or of course, Muscular Dystrophy Canada is always there to help you with all your questions as well. I think it's been an awesome day.
Yeah, that's great. I'm going to drop my email and my social into the chat if people want to get in touch, and we can maybe help direct them wherever they need to. But again, just thank you to all the attendees for doing this, and to MDC for all of their help, our sponsors. And it was great. It was really, really, I took a lot from it myself.
Definitely. And I just want to give a huge thank you, as you mentioned, to our sponsors, Biogen, Roche, and Novartis. Thanks to their sponsorship, this was able to be a completely free conference to all the attendees. So thank you so much for their contribution. And I hope that this was one of many upcoming conferences. I feel like, this is hopefully something that we can continue year after year and continue to connect and share knowledge with everyone.
Awesome. Thanks, Tori, and thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Until next year.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.